channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective. I hope y'all weeks were good. My week was so busy. There were so many things I was trying to schedule in for the week. And I would say I probably got about 70% of those things done. My week started, let's see, I went to the Tamron Hall show. No, the Tamron Hall show was last week. This week, um, I did a bunch of stuff like prepping for this job I'm going to be starting, which took a lot of my time. Wednesday, I was at the Survivor premiere party. Today, Thursday, we did the Zoom call with Mama Fee. And I asked y'all because at one point I was like, I think this would be better served on my YouTube because then I can put it on YouTube and it can be monetized and it can help with channel subscribers or whatever. I asked everyone what you think of that, and the majority, if not all, said that you prefer the Zoom platform. And actually now, after this being my second Zoom Q&A, the first one was with Kara, and the second one is with Mama Fee. I think that I'm starting to like the Zoom platform. The reason why I like the Zoom platform a little better, the reason I liked the Zoom platform, I'm sorry about that. The reason I like the Zoom platform a little better is because I think the guests feel a little bit more comfortable in a Zoom setting, especially when they can see and hear the people they're talking to. And I know how that feels as a content creator myself, because sometimes I sit on here. I'm thankful for the fact that there's probably 10 people or so that are on here consistently enough that I have a general feel for who you are. But there are times when I jump on here and I don't know who I'm talking to. I just see a number and it's just kind of randoms in the chat. So having those Zoom conversations lead to more intimate conversations, and I like it. Now, if you think about what I have done, hi Ryan, no to Fortnite. I get this Fortnite question every time the algorithm boosts up. Charicity, this is going to be an algorithm time, and you seem to be the only wrench here. So just to let you know. Kara, hi Kara. Hi Michael. Yeah, so I said this year was going to be an active year, and if you think about it, it has been an active year. I've done my coverage of the challenge. I'm starting to do a little Survivor coverage. I got my first interview of the year. I did that with Cara Maria, and then after the interview with Cara Maria, I did the fan Q&A with Cara Maria. After that, we got the fan Q&A with Mama Fee, and it's only February, so I've already done more, honestly, in February than I did. Not from a standpoint of the amount of videos, obviously. I did plenty of videos in 2024, but just in terms of these side goals that I've had, I want to make these sit-downs, these Q&A sit-downs a thing. I'm always looking for ways to improve those, so I don't necessarily want to keep them exactly as is. I want to keep the essence of how they are, but I want to I have ideas in my head of making those a little bit like a virtual version of how the meet and greets go, where you can get the benefit of meeting the reality TV person without leaving your house, and they also get the benefit of being able to speak to the fans without having to be out at a big venue and have people grabbing left and right, because I could imagine that's difficult. And matter of fact, I didn't hear directly from Andy, but I heard from somebody who knows Andy when I went to this Survivor thing. Andy from last season, if you remember him, season 47, that he's getting tired of being recognized because he can't walk down the street anymore. But it's not, the good thing for him is Survivor is different than other shows, and Big Brother is kind of probably a little bit different from other shows in that sense too. Survivor more so, because Survivor is an edited show where we don't see you 24/7. That's not gonna last. So he should enjoy it while he has it, and then if you want to keep embracing the fame, you can, and if you want to go back to your regular life, you also can. Red pill and blue pill. Let's see here. Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, Michael. Everybody hit the like button. I see 6 people in here and 3 likes, so please hit the like button. Yeah, nobody is doing it. I don't think anyone else is doing that, because I'm not saying I'm like all over YouTube looking at everything, but I don't know a channel that is like, hey, I can get such and such person and we can all sit down and talk to them together. Like, I know other channels who are like, here, I can get such and such person for an interview, that I can do the interview and you can watch the interview. I know plenty of channels that do that, but I haven't really seen a channel that's like, I have access to this person, so I'm going to try to leverage that access into a virtual meet and greet with the fan. And they've enjoyed it. I mean, Cara messaged me after our meet and greet, our Zoom meet and greet was done. And she was like, what a lovely group of people, and thank you for putting that together. I really enjoyed it. Mama Fee, when we were done with ours, she told me that she loved it and she would love to come back again. She appreciated it. And I've already started to think of who I want next. I did try to reach out to Turner. I might try again. I don't know if he has the same number. I tried to reach out to his number. Usually he gets back fairly quickly. So I might have to reach out on social media. But he's not the only option. I mean, I'm not saying I have this big, huge selection of people that I can reach out to and call or whatever, but I can get them the same way that I got the other people. Really, that's what I'm thinking of. When I first started off and I was trying to get interviews, I didn't have leverage and I didn't have numbers and nobody knew who I was, and I didn't even have subscribers or interviews. So I just emailed everybody, and there's a charity on this season. Let me see this again. I watched the episode and I got lucky saying I choose purple. I actually really like them. Purple's the best color. I have to rewatch the episode. I'm probably going to try to do that tonight or tomorrow, because yes, I saw the episode, but now it's always the same. Every time there's a watch party for a season, there's a couple of things going on that I've mentioned before. Number one, it's very loud in the building, so you can't really hear everything too well. But number two, there's also the fact that you're in there and there's Survivor players in there. So you're like trying to watch the show, but if somebody from the show walks by you while you're looking at the episode, you're likely probably going to want to speak to them and take pictures and stuff, and then you've pretty much abandoned that section of the episode. So I'm going to have to literally just sit down with no distractions and rewatch the episode, and then I can give my opinions on it from there. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say they loved it. I heard some people say it was more Big Brother-ish. But that's just a fandom. I never really go off of what the fans are saying, because the fans are always going to look for something to complain about. And I feel the same way about a Survivor first episode as I do about a Big Brother first episode. It's a first episode. You cannot gauge how a season is going to be based on one episode. It's way too small of a sample size. There's a charity on there this season. Not a big fan so far, but that's so rare. Yeah, I never heard anyone else aside from you named Charity. I remember on this soap opera that I used to watch back in the day, they had a popular Charity. But in real life, I didn't know. I've never met anyone. I don't think I've met anyone in life that is named Charity. There are a ton of options to that type of thing, and I feel like people meeting fans, people like meeting fans, usually. Splitting your attention. It's the first season in a while that I have a clear favorite. Yes, there was a Charity. You know what? I've been to enough fan events that I'll tell you the truth. I think some people like meeting fans and some people don't like meeting fans. That's the honest truth of the matter. Because I've been to events where people are literally on the flyer for the event. So I'm like going there. This is one of the people that I'm excited to meet. And I try to talk to them and I don't get 2 words out of them. And they're just kind of sitting by the bar, only interacting with their castmates or their crew, their reality TV crew, but not really with the fans. Like you might get a hi, a couple of words and a picture, but not much else. I have found that. Whereas, I'll give you I'm not going to give you examples of people who do that, but I'll give you examples of people who love those events. For the challenge, Mark Long loves meeting fans. CT loves meeting the fans. Cara Maria loves meeting the fans. Derek Kaczynski, Johnny Bananas. There's certain people that it's like they walk into the room and they get charged up by meeting fans and talking to them about things that happened on the show and yada yada. There's other people who are like, I'm just here because you asked me, you paid me, so I'm just gonna show up and do my job and then I'm gonna leave. Like there's some people who come to these things, the Survivor events and the Big Brother events will say 6 p.m. to 1:30 on the flyer. Some of them are going to be there from 6 p.m. or like 6, 7 p.m. maybe until 1:30. Some of them are going to be there from 8 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, they are out. They're going back to their hotel, or they're going to their after party. Like, I'm just there for a minimal amount of time. I'm going to sit in the VIP section, talk to a few people, talk to a few fans, and then I'm going to head out. So it's a mixed bag. Even though they're all there, it's a mixed bag of the ones that enjoy interaction, face-to-face interaction with the fandom versus the ones who don't. But I would say it's not like 50-50. I would say probably 75% of them are good with fans at the ones that I've gone to, and like a 25% of them are like, yeah, I'll take the picture with you and then leave me alone after that. It was Passions. I just didn't know that you watched that show. It was 100%. That's what it was. Charity, and what the heck was that guy's name? Miguel. Miguel, I think. And that was the only soap opera that I ever watched. And I watched it because I found it to be so hilarious. It was like the soap opera where everybody dies, but nobody dies. I mean, I don't know if other soap operas are like that, but it would be like, oh my goodness, this person died, and then they're off the show for a month, and then somehow they came back. The only person who ever actually died was the one who passed in real life. I don't know his real name, but he was Timmy on the show, and that was the first person that I know of that actually was like, this person passed on the show and they stayed gone, but that was literally because it was a real life thing. But me and my sister used to watch and crack up at that soap opera. It was so funny. It was so unserious to me. Those people probably won't do a Zoom, but the ones who do, yeah, the ones who like the people, actually, maybe even some of the ones that don't like in-person events might even like Zoom. I don't see anyone not liking the Zoom platform. Just don't like people in general, and there are people like that. Like, well, I shouldn't even say don't like people. Some of them don't like people, but some of them are like, you see them on your TV and they seem to have big personalities, and then when you actually meet them, they're shy, and you're like, wow, you don't seem like that when I'm watching you make these big moves on these different shows. But then, I speak to you in person, and I mean, whenever I vouch for somebody, whenever I tell my group here, I believe I can get this person for an interview. I mean, not an interview. Well, an interview or a Zoom or whatever. It's because of my interaction. Because otherwise, I don't even mention it. Like, if I just said to myself, "Hey, I want to get Sari to do an interview with me." Can't vouch for Sari. I mean, I met Sari. She was, nice to me. The conversation was short. She was nice to me, but based on that conversation that I had with her, I don't feel like it's some kind of foregone conclusion that if I asked her to do one of these Zooms, that she would do it. So I wouldn't even offer that up. It might be somebody who I would just reach out to behind the scenes. If they respond, they respond. If they don't. But I actually prefer it. I much prefer to be somebody that I know. And I think that they actually prefer that too. As a matter of fact, I know that. Because y'all can see the people that I have gotten on the channel, for the most part, I always have a story of like, this is how we met. I've met most of the people that I have interviewed. Oh yeah, I remember that. Timmy and Tabitha. Timmy and Tabitha, they had a witch on the show. They had a witch on the soap opera, and the witch would cast spells. She would cast spells on different people, particularly that rich family. I can't remember the last name. I know Ethan was in that family. Yeah, they had this rich family that was just in control of everything, and in whatever place they lived in, and Tabitha would cast spells. I think the Zoom platform will be yeah. I want to figure out a way to kind of tweak it and make it a little better. But generally, yeah, I think that the cast of these shows, man, like my channel members will know in more details, but I feel like I did certain people favors when it comes to what I offered them to be on my platform, because I don't think anyone else is offering that kind of thing. I can't see. Coley, am I saying it right? Hi, Coley. Yeah, so whenever I put up my pictures and videos and stuff from these events, everyone is like, it's so cool. A lot of people are like, they don't come to my city, they don't come to my state, or they don't come to my country, wherever they happen to be from. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I circle around and reach back out to these people that I have already been in contact with? A person that is heavy on my mind to do that with right now is Hannah. I still have not reached out to her, but I think that I will attempt to organize that for March, because she owes me one or two. Not literally, I don't think that she owes me anything, but I'm just saying, there's a couple of times that she was like, we got to do this follow-up discussion, and it never happened. So her main thing is like, she's always doing something in terms of school in particular. I'm doing fine, and yourself? But if I could happen to catch her during a free time or a free-ish time, I think that would be an amazing person to chat with. I told her the last time I saw her, which was in April? I think the last time, no, why am I saying April? August? I think the last time I saw her was like August of last year. And I told her like, every time I speak to you, I feel smarter, literally. She's super humble. She doesn't like hearing that. But honestly, I speak to her, and these are not regular conversations. I'm always learning something, because I already exhausted all the cookout questions that I could possibly ask her, all the season 23 questions. So I tend to just ask her or speak to her about life related things. And when I'm speaking to her, she's what? When she was on Big Brother, season 23, I think she was like 21 or something. And that was in 2020. So she must be like 25, maybe like 24, 25. And I talk to her, and I feel like she's my age. Like, I'm not saying I'm that much older than her, but I am a good 12 years older than her. So I speak to her and I forget how young she is, because that's just the amount of knowledge in that head of hers. I'm just jealous that she's in med school. Yeah, she like this is how smart she is, right? And I didn't learn this until I did that interview with her. I'm like, oh, so you're a Big Brother super fan. I know that you were born, I think, after season one. I think she was born around like season 2 or 3 or something like that. So I said to her, when did you start watching? Were you watching it with your parents or something? Like, how did you become a Big Brother super fan? She was like, well, honestly, I started watching Big Brother the same year that I got on the show. And she said about 3 months before the show, I binged season 1 through 22. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So you watched season 1 through 22 in 3 months and then came on the show as a super fan and finished in the final 5, I believe. That's pretty nuts. And we're part of one of the most historic alliances of all time. And I remember everyone was coming to her and she was predicting what games were going to happen. And she's talking about Dr. Will. She's talking about Janelle, this and this. And I'm like, 22 seasons in 3 months. And you were the go-to person that Kyland and Xavier and all these people were coming to about what happened in the past and what to expect. She was like, that's not that big of a deal. I don't think that's that big of a deal. I was like, all right. You probably get tired of being called a genius after a while, but it's not going to stop me from saying that every time we speak. Like, you're a genius. It looks like the morning. It's not morning. It's sun. The sun is setting. It's not the dawn. It's sunset. It's about sunset over here in New York. What time is it where you're at? This is gonna be, man. Monday I'm gonna be in the office 9 through 5. And right now is, let's see, 5:12. So Monday rolls around, I'm gonna be seeing much less daylight than I've become accustomed to over the past month and a half. But you've got to pay the bills, man. There's just no way around it. Until I figure out a way to make this life work for me. And when I say this life, I mean like the type of things that I'm doing on here. Until I figure out a full-time way to make these types of things work for me, I just have to do what I have to do to live and survive in the world. 22, that'll be 10, 11 p.m. Forgive me, like, it's so funny that all these things that were common things, like army time, I see them and I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is. There was this young girl at a register, and I asked her some question the other day, and she said, that's weird. It says 1600. What is that? And I knew what it was, but because I don't actively see those things often, I was like, let me think about that for a second. 12 plus 4 is 16. So 1600 must be 4 p.m. So yeah, that's one person I have in mind. I do have other people who would do it, but I also go based upon who y'all say you like. So there are certain people who I know I could ask, but I'm not asking them. And the reason why is because I don't want to bring anyone onto my platform and then they're staring at us and we're staring at them. And they're like, why did you invite me here if nobody really has questions for me? And honestly, I was a little bit worried with the Mama Fee one because with the Cara Maria interview, even though it was not a lot of people on there, there was a good 6, 7, 8 people on there before the start time. But with the Mama Fee one, I got on there and there was nobody on there except for me. And it was already the start time. So I was like, oh shoot. What happens if it's just me? Oh, there was one person. I take that back. But what happens if it's just 2 of us and her? So I really quickly just wrote out a whole bunch of questions. And thankfully, though, people joined later. And I only had to go through like a few of my questions. I like being a moderator versus being an interviewer because it's easier. But I'm not going to say I prefer being a moderator to an interviewer. It's just easier, if that makes any sense. Like, I actually love the preparation process of watching the shows and taking notes and practicing and figuring out this might be a funny moment or this one might be a serious moment, whatever. I like that. I love the whole process. It's just work. Whereas when I am moderating something, it's not really work to me. It's just, I'm just on there. I'm trying to keep the conversation flowing. I'm trying to give everyone a chance to speak. If there's dry spots where people are quiet, I might throw in a question or two or a follow-up question or two. But if you think about it, in an hour conversation, I'm probably only going to be speaking like 5 to 10 minutes of that hour. Versus an interview, I'm probably covering, depending on who I'm speaking to, but I'm probably covering close to 50% of that airspace. And I always like to be over prepared. A moderator is somebody with the wrench. Turicity is the only moderator on here right now. But it's the people that we give the wrenches to that help us to navigate if there are people on here who make unruly comments. That's all. Yeah, I don't like wasting people's time. I do not like wasting people's time. That's the reason why with some of these ideas that I've had for certain people that I've met from these shows, I don't give them the idea until I have taken a lot of time to map it out. Unless it's an interview. If it's an interview, I just ask, will you do the interview? Yes, no. I think she was asking about you moderate. Oh, the Zoom. Sorry, I missed that one. Is it hard to be a content creator? Good question. Yes and no. Here's the thing. It's not really hard, in my opinion, to get on a camera and start talking to people. I mean, it might be for some, but for me, it's not necessarily hard to get on a camera and speak. Is it hard to become a successful in terms of like a monetary success? Is that hard? Absolutely. And I can tell you that as somebody who has been doing this now from at least from when they started this YouTube partnership program thing. I've been doing that for about 3 years now. And while my name and my channel is kind of recognized amongst people who have a similar niche, the channel growth is not a ton from year to year. So that's hard. And it can also be hard when the fact that you're out there, like you put yourself out there and strangers can just jump on there and say anything to you. But I mean, that's something that I have learned to navigate pretty well. But just in terms of not really having the financial success aspect of it, I think that part is always the one that is the hardest for me, because I'm like, I put a lot into my channel. I invest a lot into my channel. I invest my own money into the channel. I invest a lot of time into the channel, preparation. Like for an interview, like what I'm talking about, someone will see me interview somebody for an hour and a half and be like, cool interview, I enjoyed it. They won't know that I spent 15, 16 hours preparing for the 1.5 hours. So it's a lot that I put into it. Not trying to be rude, but is it also you're talking to millions of people? I personally am not talking to millions of people, as you can see. I mean, the channels that are really popular, maybe they get millions of people. Not the ones that talk about this stuff, because this niche does not have that type of following in general. I mean, they do, but they don't have that type of online following, I should say. Those are like the mainstream entertainment channels. But I don't have a problem talking to. At my peak, the most I ever had on a live that I ever did was about maybe between 400 and 500 people at one time. And it wasn't hard to do, but it was just hard to read the comments, because there was just so many comments coming in at once that I couldn't read everybody's comments. I like to be able to see what's in the room and what people are saying in the chat. And I've actually seen those lives on those really big platforms, and they don't even read the chat because the chat is coming in fast and furious. I actually have anxiety myself. You don't know that because you're new to the channel, but I've mentioned that when I first started doing this, I had really I still have anxiety, but I'm saying I had really bad anxiety about this specific thing, because I was like, I'm on here and there's people who are watching me do this, but I'm not able to see them. So that part used to freak me out a lot. And I'm here and like, I'm reading your comments. It's something you have to get used to. Because when I first started, it felt like I'm just sitting here talking to myself. And I am, like I'm in my car. I'm in my car by myself. But now I feel like if there's people in the chat, at least I feel that they're with me. It's not really sad. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if I'm going to do YouTube forever specifically. I've done it for 3 years. I don't know how much longer I'm going to continue to do it, but I want to make my best effort. If I look back and I say I've tried the best that I can, and I still haven't been able to make something substantial out of it, I'll move on to the next thing. But a long way to go. So much is going to AI now. What do you mean? We're lucky we ain't AI. There's AI channels that are way more successful than mine, funny enough. Like, there's a person who obviously has to create the channel and everything, but they run the channel with AI and get millions of views. I hate those channels that make those summaries about things that are happening with the AI voice in the background. I can't stand those. I'm like, I want a real person. Some people don't care. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see and hear me? Before I finish, and hit the notification bell. I'm on here pretty often. I'm on here almost every day, honestly. So I want to say that I will most likely be on tomorrow, but I'm not 100%. Is it still paused? Yay or nay, is it still on? I'm gonna wait for like 1 to 2 minutes, and if it's on, I'll keep going with what I was saying, but if not, I'm just gonna end the live. I can still see y'all comments. You still can't hear anything? Yes, no, maybe. Good afternoon, how you doing? Watching live, have a great weekend. Thank you, Linda Lewis. If you have not done so, I would appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell. Much appreciated. Okay, so I guess you guys can see and hear me again. So what I was saying to you, Coley, is that I don't know for sure if I'm going to be on tomorrow, but hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. I will most likely be on here tomorrow, but I have learned something called under promise, over deliver. So unless I could guarantee you that I was going to be on here tomorrow, I'm not going to tell you I'll be on here tomorrow, but I'll say I'm on here almost every day. I might take 1 or 2 days off per week. So if you are subscribed to the channel, you'll see me on here often. Tricity, I'm on here. You can't hear anything. Keeps playing and stopping. I guess that's a cue to go. But thanks for joining me. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank y'all, and I'll talk to you again soon.